Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey, right here on the Dice Tower. Today we're going to be taking a look at Moon Colony Bloodbath. This is a new game, 2025, from Donald X. Vaccarino, the man who brought us Dominion. It is a card-based game. There's other things going on in it, but basically you're trying to have your people survive the longest as a horde of different kinds of problems go wrong on the moon. So let's get down to the table and take a look and see what you think. The round structure of the game is actually a lot different than what you're probably used to. Basically, you're going to flip over one card and then everybody does what that one card says. Whether it is to work, which gets into the different actions that you can do during a work phase, or it might be some type of event that adversely affects everybody. But generally speaking, a round consists of turning over one card and then everybody doing what that one card says, and then you can move on to the next one. The point of the game is to basically last through the event deck. The event deck has 13 cards in it all the way to the end, and if we can get to the point where we actually start reading the instruction manual, then we win the game, and whoever has the most people left at the end of that wins the game. But more often than not, at least in my experience, you're not going to make it to the end of that deck. One of the players is going to run out of people and buildings, and at that point, the game ends and everybody counts how many people they have left, including the ones that are in buildings that they have built, and that person is the winner. Let's just go ahead and start here. We turn one over, and now this is a work card. So what this means is that everybody can choose one of the different work actions. Well, what are the work actions? You have a mine action, which allows you to get more credits or more money. You have a farm action, which allows you to get 4 more food. And food is required to feed the people that are working in the buildings. So you have to have 1 food per building that you have built in your colony. Then you also have a research action, which allows you to draw 2 more cards that are buildings that you're building into your colony. So you have, for example, an assembly line, and these cards have different effects that carry on. So this one specifically says that you will pay $1 less for buildings when you're building them. And then whenever you lose this building, because there are some times where you have to lose a building, you can actually build or take a build action. The spaceport here says each time you play another building, you may pay $3 to add a perk, or you can get 3 more people. And so this is one of the kinds of cards that allow you to add these perks into the deck. And basically what that means is this card's going to go into the deck, and when it flips over, only the player who is playing Dr. Banerjee gets that specific perk. You're drawing these cards and adding them to your hand, which represents the buildings that you're able to build. So during a build action, you're going to pay the amount of money that's up here in this corner, and that allows you to play it into your tableau. Now, it also has a number of people that come with that building. So technically, if I built this building right now, I would add it, and I now have 34 people in my colony. But if I added a radio antenna, I would have 30 plus 10, I would have 40 people. Now, you also have a different color of banners down here at the bottom. For example, you have the lost, which basically we've already explained that. Whenever you lose this building, you're going to get 2 more buildings out of the deck. But they also have pink places, and these pink banners basically say when you play this card, this happens. So when you play the makeshift lab by paying $1 and putting it into your tableau, you get 2 cargo that you can put on your buildings that actually go on the buildings. Here, you play to add repairs, and there are different development cards that are going to be able to be added to the deck. So that's what a research action and then a build action as well. Restock is where you can basically take 2 of these cargo tokens and add them to any building. You can also split them up and add them into 2 different buildings. And cargoes are used to do certain things throughout the course of the game when they come up on these different cards. So we would do a work action. I have $4. So let's say that I go ahead and I want to play. I'll use one of my things over here to do a build. I'll pay a coin, and I'll be able to put the makeshift lab into my tableau, which at that point I'm able to take 2 cargo, and then I place them into buildings. I only have the makeshift lab, so there you have it. And everybody else would have done their actions. We're not going to go through that though. And now we go to the next action. We turn it over, and it's another work. So now I have some cards in my hand that are a little bit more expensive. I can't afford them. I'm going to go ahead and mine. That gives me 4 new, so I'm going to put 1 back and take a 5. And then everybody else does their actions as well. And we turn over another one. Well, there's trouble. And now trouble means that the first event is going to be added to the deck. So we take this card and we flip it over and we place it right there. Now, if there's other cards like perk cards or more development cards or robots or something like that, if those are added at the same time, we'll take those cards, shuffle them up, and then put them on top of the deck and start going through them. But since this is kind of a special situation, we just go ahead and turn it over. So now, hunger, I have to pay 1 food per building you have. Or if you can't pay food for all of the buildings you have, you're going to lose 1 human, or person rather, equal to how many buildings you can't pay for. So I have 1 food for the 1 building that I have. I'm all good. But if you did pay it all, you get an extra 2 people. So because I was able to pay all of my food, I get 2 extra people that come into my colony, and we're all done once everybody has done that. We come over here, and now we have one of the twists that get added in. You may spend a cargo to farm. So we were talking about this earlier. I'm going to use one of the cargoes that I was able to get earlier, and I'm going to farm, which means that I get to get 4 new food. And this doesn't count as an action. I'm able to do it over there. So now I've got 7 food. I'm pretty well stocked up. And so we continue on. Now we have another work action, and so forth and so on. And that's how the game continues, with cards being added in, different robots coming up. And all of the robots are bad, by the way. This one's going to, it's a warehouse robot. So it's going to have -7. And then you can get +1 cargo on a building. You don't have a cargo on, so maybe you have buildings that help you out in certain situations. This drilling robot here says that we're going to lose 5 people. So as you can see, all of these robots are pretty bad. And so after you get a few of these roaming through your deck, you're going to be losing people left and right. Some of the twists can be good. Some of the twists can be bad. Just depends. Then you have these other development cards that some of your buildings will add when you play them, and some of them are bad. For example, budget cuts, you get -$2. But gardens here, it says you can discard a card for 4 food. That's not bad. You may discard 2 buildings to build. That's also not terribly bad, although it's highly inefficient. So those are the kind of developments that get through. So generally speaking, this deck is going to grow and grow and grow with the more perks, developments, robots, twists, and events that go into it. And you're simply trying to, in one of 2 different ways, survive. All right, so that's that for Moon Colony Bloodbath. So as far as my pros and cons are concerned, my first pro is going to be the gameplay. The gameplay is super fun and interactive because you're always taking a look at what other people are doing, how they're doing it, how many people do they have left in their buildings, what buildings are they getting the best action economy out of, all of that kind of stuff. You're invested in what everybody is doing. Now, you are simply running your own engines. You're basically building your own engine so that you can try to survive the longest. And that's interesting, but the weird thing about it is that usually when you're doing that, you're very closed off and you're kind of head down. And there is a little bit of that, but there's also a lot of, ooh, what are you doing over there? What are you doing over there? What are you doing over there? And I think part of the reason for that is that kind of bingo mechanism that the game centralizes on. Everybody is tied to what's coming up on the card next. So you have less opportunity to just hunker down and focus on your tableau. And that's what I think makes the gameplay so fun. You're head up, you're seeing what other people are doing, you're watching their reactions to the card that comes up. And I think that's a vital, important thing about this game. If it were lacking that vital component of player facial interaction, at the very least, there's not a whole lot that you can do to affect people in the game, but that is a vital component to this game, and that's what really makes it fun. Seeing how everybody reacts to all of those different situations that we're all going through at the same time, and how we've made a engine that kind of helps us out to not have to go through that while everybody else does. That's a really fun part of the game, and that's what I think made gameplay so fun. My next pro for the game is the fact that it teaches incredibly fast and easy, because you only have 5 actions and they're all very simple actions. Additionally, it feels like you're doing a cooperative game because you're all going through the same event at the same time, although it is not a cooperative game. It is absolutely competitive. You absolutely want to do better than everybody else, but it has that vibe of we're all going through the same thing, but who among us is going to go through it in a more efficient manner? And that's what I think makes this game so simple to teach. It's because you can quite literally explain just a few things, like what the actions are doing and how you carry out those actions. And because they're so simple, and because there's only 5 of them, that doesn't take very long. And then you basically say, hey, we're going to go through this deck, we're going to flip over a card, we're all going to do what it says, and then we're going to keep going. And our goal is to get all the way down so we can read the instruction manual. Start with the instruction manual first, people. That's all I'm saying. But, and if that doesn't happen, you're just trying to have the most people left at the end of the game. And you are quite literally ready to go now. So I really enjoyed this game because of how simple it was to teach and how simple it was to play. Another pro for me was the cheeky theme that it had around it. I really did enjoy the theme a lot. Moon Colony Bloodbath is not 3 words that I think you would put into the same sentence, even, let alone as the title for a game. But they did it, and it sounds like it's going to be fun. And that's the cool thing about it for me. If this game were something else, some other theme that maybe took itself too seriously, I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much as I do. But because it's such a cheeky theme that doesn't take itself seriously, you can really kind of dive into it and just frolic around. And it's very fun because of how cheeky the theme is, and that's why it's one of the pros for me. Following on that, the resource management really gets kind of iffy and suspicious as we go through the game, because people are becoming resources, food is resource, and sometimes it seems like there might be some type of situation where people are food, and it's just one of those things where the theme converges together on all of these really cheeky things that are going on, and it's such an interesting experience. But the resource management is very simplistic. It's very foundational. It is not kind of the crux of the game, except for you want the most people left at the end of the game. So I liked the simplicity of the resource management, and I also like how it tied into that cheeky theme almost too well in some cases. But it gave you the opportunity to kind of lean into that in a very comedic way, and I enjoyed it a lot. I also really enjoyed the tableau engine building that was really kind of the main mechanism that you're doing as you go through the game. Choosing to build the buildings that are going to give you the most benefit later on, or choosing a building that's going to give you an immediate benefit right now and maybe be a building that you can easily get rid of later on when you need to. Some of those buildings are good at that, and some of them are less good at doing that. So you really do have a lot of good choices to make in the engine building here, and that's a huge pro for me. The con is the artwork. Honestly, the artwork, this looks like a game that came out in the early 90s, maybe even late 80s, and that is a tiny con. Artwork is very subjective. I know JT said he really enjoys the artwork of this game, and it is all very thematic around that cheeky theme, and that's why I'm not making this a larger thing, because I am a very aesthetic gamer, and artwork can be a big deal for me, but here it's less of a big deal because of the cheekiness of the theme, because the theme does not take itself very seriously. The artwork that embellishes that theme also doesn't take itself very seriously. It's not that it's bad art, don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if I knew nothing else about the game and I didn't know what the title of the game was, the artwork would not have grabbed me. My second con is going to be that it runs the danger of feeling a little bit too samey from time to time. I did play this 4 times over the course of the Dice Tower cruise, and 1 time before we went to the cruise. So I've played this game 5 times, and there at about game 4, I started to feel like, okay, because you're going through the same events. Boom, boom, boom. There's only 13 events in there, and you're going through the same events. We haven't seen all of the robot cards. We haven't seen all of the development cards or anything like that. So take that for what it's worth. I think this is another small con for me. It isn't a game that you're going to invest a lot of time in. So it's just kind of like a fun frolic in a really outlandish theme. Now, my rating for Moon Colony Bloodbath is going to be a strong 7 out of 10. And the reason it's not an 8, because I think 8 is about the height that this one could go, in my opinion. I think this could easily be an 8 if we had more event decks. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I certainly hope it does, because I really enjoy this game, and I'd love to see what kind of thematic events could be expanded upon in the future. So take that for what it's worth. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. I really did enjoy this game, and I'm willing to play it at any point in time. So let me know if we're ever in the same place, and I'll gladly play Moon Colony Bloodbath with you. It's a 7 out of 10. Thanks for joining us, though. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.